Welcome to our virtual classroom. Join me for some fun learning. Hello, it's Miss Nicole of Legacy Lineage Online Learning here with story time. This story time is going to be all about our new class pet, Ruby Redfish. You see Ruby swimming around in there? Hi, Ruby. We call her Ruby because she has a beautiful red tail, even though her body kind of looks a little blue. Did you get a chance to see our post on what a wonderful, fun picture you can make of a fishbowl? So we recreated Ruby's fishbowl back here. We put green rocks, just like her green rocks. We made two fish. Can you guess who this is supposed to be? If you said Nemo, you are right. And this is kind of like Ruby, although we changed the colors a little bit. And this is actually a picture of Ruby being fed. So, did you know that betta fish, they don't like to be in a group of fish? Betta fish like to be alone, or they prefer to be by themselves. They also like to have a nice place to hide. And if you saw our previous video, you can see Ruby going in and out of those barrels there. She seems to be staying there. It also says that she is a carnivore, which means just like when we did the 100 dinosaurs, we learned that being a carnivore is a meat eater. So she likes to eat bloodworms. And down at the bottom, you see the worms that she likes to eat. Down here. And I'll show you what it looks like inside so you can see what they're very, very small. Oh, you can't really see them. Well, next time we'll do a feeding, okay? We'll make sure we record when we feed Ruby, all right? And then she also eats little old betta pellets. These are new. We haven't opened those yet, but she also eats betta food. So they're just little pellets. You can see the picture of them down at the bottom. Little pellets for her to eat. And we are going to learn more about fish. Now that we have a virtual classroom pet, we need to learn a little bit about our fish. So we know that she likes to hide. We know that she prefers to swim alone. We know that she likes to eat bloodworms. But let's see what our story wants to tell us. It is fish live in water. And these two fish look just like clownfish, which are the kind of fish that Nemo are. So instead, because Ruby likes to be alone, we just gave her a fake Nemo. Just put a little Nemo down there just for fun, even though she knows that that fish isn't real. Fish live in water. Fish live in water. Fish live in oceans. Fish live in lakes or rivers. And then it says, fun fact, there are thousands of different kinds of fish. Most live in saltwater oceans. So betta, our Ruby, is a freshwater fish. We don't have to put any salt water. We don't have to keep her in salt water, which is like when you go to the beach. That's the ocean. That's considered salt water. So when we change Ruby's water, we just use regular old water that you can get from the bottle or from your tap. But we have to put and add a water conditioner so that the water is good for her to be in, okay? And when we change her water, we don't use cold water when we turn on the faucet because it can get too cold. We use nice room temperature water, okay? So when we change her water, we make sure that it's not too cold because we use room temperature water. And if you go into our library, you can see the post of when we first set up Ruby's tank to welcome her. let's learn what else about fish. Fish live in very warm water. Look at that. Fish also live in very cold water. So fish can live in warm or cold water, but I like to make Ruby's water room temperature. And we have another fun fact here in the bubble right here. It tells us something else about fish. A fish fact. A fish fun fact. Can you say that fast? A fish fun fact. Can you say that fast? A fish fun fact. Can you say that fast? A fish fun fact. Can you say that fast? A fish fun fact. Can you say that fast? Many fish, such as cod and bullheads, live in water that is not warm or cold. So kind of what I said about our betta fish, Ruby. They live in kind of room temperature or lukewarm water. It's like in the middle of cold and warm. It's just room temperature. That's what it's called. Fish live near the top of the water. The water is light from the sun. So they live near the top of the water, and the water is light from the sun. And we have another fish fun fact. The fish that live near the surface are usually large and are fast swimmers. Can you think of what large, fast swimmers probably live at the top? You're right. I see sharks, and I'm guessing sharks is the right answer. Right, Ruby? Ooh, look at this. Fish live in deep water. The water is dark and cold. And we have another fish fun fact. Many deep water fish shine with lights made from chemicals in their body. So look at these deep water fish that live in water that is dark and cold. This book makes me want to watch Finding Nemo. Fish live on the ocean floor and fish live in the mud. We got another, say it with me. Fish fun fact. Fish at the ocean bottom feed on creatures that drift down from above. Would you like to have this guy as a pet? Do you think you'd like to have this guy as a pet? I don't. I don't think he would be very fun to look at. Looks a little scary to me. Right, Ruby? Fish live in caves. Fish live in water and on land. Okay, now I did not know that. I thought only fish lived in water. Fish fun fact. Fish fun fact. Fish that live in caves or tunnels often do not have eyes. A fish with no eyes? Wow. That is a fish fun fact. So this fish, he doesn't have eyes. But this fish, we can see his eyes right there. Fish live in many different places. Just like in a tank. Just like Ruby's little tank. Where'd she go? Is she hiding? Oh, she's not hiding. She's kind of in the back if you can see her. Looks like she's coming up. Did she go hide somewhere? She did. All right. So that is fish live in water. And we learned some fun, fish fun facts. And we got a chance to meet our virtual classroom pet, Ruby Redfish. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. And remember, you are the you in unique.